Welcome to the Gearbox Podcast with Jimmy Purdy. We're bringing together industry leaders and those in the daily grind. Whether you're a tech looking to level up or a shop owner navigating the business, or just here for some real talk about the automotive world, we're finding the common ground in entrepreneurship and picking up some valuable tips along the way. So buckle up, let's shift into gear. Ready to take your shop to the next level? Growing a successful auto repair business takes more than just turning wrenches. You need the right strategy. Repair Shop of Tomorrow helps shop owners boost car count, increase profits, and streamline operations with expert coaching and marketing. Check them out today at repairshopoftomorrow.com and start growing tomorrow.
I do.
Well, Mr. Charlie, I'll let you introduce yourself, Mr. from Pleasant Car Care.
Yeah.
Start rolling right into this thing. So, quick little intro about you and where you're located and the shops that you operate.
Okay. So my name is Charlie Zlatkos. I have two locations in Massachusetts, Pleasant Car Care, located in Newton and Watertown, Mass. And then I'm also involved with Todd Hayes, and we have operations down in Houston. We have two now auto care locations and also partners in two Adams locations. So between Boston and Houston, that's where I work day to day. And we also have Auto Shop Answers, which, as you know, it's part of our training platform. It started basically being our, when we bring new employees in and training them, service advisors and managers, and then people ask to start to joining us. And now we developed to a full-blown training company, basically.
That's awesome. A lot of work.
Yeah, it definitely is a lot of work, but it's okay. I mean, we love what we do. As you see, the passion comes through, so we're very happy to do it.
Yeah, I mean, I spent a little time with you out in Houston, and we'll get into that in just a second. But you came into America, right? And this is kind of a new thing for you, right? How did you get into the automotive field to begin with? Was this something you wanted to do, or you just naturally good at?
So automotive, I was already in the automotive before we moved here. I moved here, I was almost 17 years old. And I used to be riding motorcycles in Greece because I grew up in Greece and motorcycles are everywhere. I started with little, smaller.
That just sounds super cool. I don't know why, but
yeah.
sounds like
Well,
a good time.
Over the probably 80% of the transportation is with motorcycles. So, started at a very young age riding bikes and then going to bigger bikes, but riding very aggressive, let's say. And my father didn't want me to get too involved in that. So he kind of pulled me out of it. I used to always go to his mechanic when my father used to take his car in for service, like from really, really young age. So I was always in there because I loved the environment. I loved even the smell of the shops. They have a unique smell in Greece. I don't know why. I mean, back in the day, there was gear oil everywhere, and So I was always involved with the car. So he pulled me out of the motorcycles, world because I wanted to work in a bike shop. He's like, no, that's not going to happen. So I started working for his mechanic. He was a fantastic guy, fantastic technician. So that was my first job. That was my first job, in the trades, basically. I used to work, I did a little construction with my father growing up because he didn't want me to just run around. So every weekend I never had a weekend, basically. Made sure I worked with him. So, but a real job, that was probably about 15 years old when I started. And then we immigrated to the United States. I got a job in a gas station / service station. It was a mobile station at the time. And that was my first job. I was there about 7.5 years. But my boss had 3 sons, and he had a shop manager there. So I'm like, well, there's no future here for me. So I left that place, and I thought I knew how to run a business, which, as you know, that was a joke at the time. And I bought a van. This is a funny story. I'm not sure if you know this story, Jimmy. I bought a van off an electrician, and I put some fluids in there. I put a floor jack, a bunch of tools, and I worked in a bunch of parking garage buildings in Boston, downtown Boston.
Wow.
Yeah, because I had a friend of mine, Eddie, that had detailing shops there. So I used to work in the same locations that Eddie was, and I would try to service his customers or any other customers in those locations. But I did that for about a year. I didn't make any money, so I gave that up. And then my first boss from the United States introduced me to another friend of his who had a gas station. He had it shut down because they redid the tanks and the pumps and all that. So the place was just sitting closed basically for a while. So I was the one that opened it up. I was doing the gas and the repairs alone in the beginning, and then we started hiring gas attendants to take care of it. But in the shop, we never hired anyone. I was the only guy that ever worked in the shop for 10 and a half years, which is a major part of my story today. I mean, it wasn't easy, trying to do all the jobs by yourself and diagnose the cars, road test them, write the service, order the parts, all of it. It wasn't easy, but I'm telling you, it was a great lesson. I mean, I learned a lot.
Yeah,
So
those are the hardest. Those are the hardest lessons learned.
Mhm. So I learned a lot over there because there was nobody else to lean on. So you have to figure it out.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, you don't get paid unless if it gets fit. I mean, that's the story of like a lot of small businesses, right?
Hmm.
I mean, you're a technician, and because you can do the work, you think you should own a business.
Yeah, it's so far from the truth. I think I read a statistic recently. Rats and Rents posted something. 68 or 70% of auto repair shop owners are ex-technicians. I
Hmm.
mean, it's a high percentage. It flows naturally, you would think, but it requires a completely different skill set to run a business than what it does to fix a car. It's two completely different things. It's almost like I don't know, let's say almost like you're a chef in a restaurant and you're trying to run the restaurant business. The restaurant business is different than being the chef.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, and that's an easy thing to think about too. Like you can, like, you understand that most people can't cook food, right? So it's like to think you could be the front of the house and also be the chef. See, but the chef could possibly run a restaurant, right? Like if you're cooking the food, you think in your mind, well, if I have a bakery, right? And I don't know if you've read the E Myth, the Michael
Yeah, Michael Gerber.
yeah,
Michael Gerber.
the E
Yep.
Myth. So you have the technician, the manager, and the entrepreneur, right? And he talks a lot about owning the bakery, right? Like all about pies. And so if you bake the pies, you feel like, well, I have a product to sell now. But if you don't have a person to sell those
Well,
pies, how like
I was going to warn you.
now you
See,
just have a bunch of pies that just sit on the shelf, right? Because no one's selling them for you.
exactly. See, there's marketing involved.
Yes.
There is payroll involved, sales taxes, payroll taxes, insurances. I mean, scheduling. You name it. There is so many other things that come to play that you don't even think about. Customer service and how you deal with situations, licensing boards. You name it. You know how
It
it
goes
is.
on and
Like I
on,
said,
yeah.
it's a completely different skill set. Hiring people, training people, all that stuff. See, the baker can do all that. It's very, very hard.
Well, he
Not
shouldn't.
that it's not possible. I mean, I've done it, you've done it, a lot of people have done it, but at what level, how good can you get?
Well, how good of a baker can you be if you're too busy doing this other stuff, right?
Yeah.
Right? Like how many parts are you going to throw at a car trying to fix it because you don't have the time to properly diagnose it because you have all these other things, right? And to pivot off of what you're saying, you're not going to find a lot of service advisors that open a shop, but you'll find a lot of technicians that open the shop, right? Because the product that we're delivering is a repaired vehicle, right? And I think we get too blinded by that, and we think the most important thing is to fix the vehicle. And
Well,
I
you
mean,
have to fix a guy.
obviously that's like it goes without saying, but I think that's like where the blinders come on. That is not the most important thing. Like fixing the car is like when someone comes to a restaurant, like, yeah, you got to give them a plate of food. They're hungry. But can you sell them dessert? Can you sell them a good experience? Can you give them the opportunity to want to come back because you gave that level of experience and service that they're going to come back for? I think that's the missing part that
Mhm.
a lot of owners miss.
It's so funny because I made a post yesterday on Instagram and on LinkedIn similar to that, and it basically says about service. Like fixing the car is not customer service. That's an expectation, right? You're supposed to fix the car. You're supposed to make sure the parts are correct and it works properly. That's just an expectation. Customer service is being nice, transparent, having a clean facility that you can bring the customer and show them and introduce them to your technicians. And, so go pick up the vehicle, drop it off, even dropping it off when it's required to, right? You promise the time. Basically, taking anything away from the customer that they don't have to think, making it very, very easy for them to do business with you. See, that is customer service, going above and beyond. If you do a job and there is fingerprints on the fender, well, clean up the car. Make sure, so you fix the car. Fixing the car is the basic, right? All the other stuff is extra. That's where customer service comes in. That's what separates you from the competition. And we call it in our world, I mean, you've been a little bit around us, and we call it auto hospitality. We're not in auto repair, we're in auto hospitality.
Yeah, and I think it's difficult for a lot of technicians, turn shop owner, to kind of think about that, because you instantly kind of want to gravitate towards, oh, I do a much better job than everybody else because when I fix the car, I use this really good silicone, or I make sure all my silicone's cleaned up, or I use this high-end gasket, or I make sure every bolt is facing a certain direction, right? And that is like the quality that you want to promote, and it's so missed, right? And I was in that boat with rebuilding transmissions, right? It's like my shop was the best because I built the transmissions the way I built them. I did all the bushings, I did all the washers, like I didn't miss one piece. I made sure it was clean, I made sure the case was painted. And at the end of the day, it's like none of that really matters. You know what I mean? Like it's good for me, it makes me feel good, right? And I know I'm providing a good product, but that doesn't separate me from any of the other shops, because that's what everybody's doing. Everybody's trying to put their best foot forward when it comes to the repair.
As technicians, I get it 100% because that, what you just described, that was me. That was me. I mean, my tools were so meticulous. I used to work, as I said, when you learn, what you really learn working by yourself is how to be efficient. Yeah. I could really not even turn and look at my toolbox. I would just extend my arm and I would grab the right wrench or the right socket, right? Without even looking, just because I was so organized. And when it comes to quality of work, obviously we all want to provide good quality work. Excuse me. I don't think anybody wants to provide bad work.
Right.
So that's kind of a given again. But and I love it when people take pride on that. There's actually a Greek word I've recently trained a couple of people in this world. It's called meraki. And what meraki means is when you do something and you put your heart into it. Like really care, take pride in your work, basically. A simple way to explain it. That's what you just described, which is awesome. I mean, I love it. There's nothing wrong with that. There's really nothing wrong with that. But I did not start running a business and I did not start making real money up until I changed that mindset, and I had to give that up to somebody else. I had to hire. There's other people like me and you out there, right? Can we agree on that? Mm-hmm. There is another Jimmy out there. So we can go and find that Jimmy and hire him so he can do that, what you just described, over here, and provide him with an excellent work environment, all the benefits, pay him really well, treat him really well, and he doesn't want to go anywhere. So we can provide that environment, and Jimmy is happy doing that nice quality work, but we need to run the business.
Yeah, two totally separate jobs.
It's two separate jobs, and I'm telling you, I didn't start, improving my life or even my customer service side, because if you have that mentality, oh, I'm going to do the silicone, I'm going to tape these wires this certain way, well, it limits you, right? You can only do so much. There is only so many hours in the day, there's so many days in a week. You can only do so much. But the minute you allow somebody else to do it, and again, you have to go and find them. Not everybody's going to do the nice quality work that you want to deliver, but you have to go find them. And that is the hardest part. Recruiting is it's an art by itself. It's a full-time job by itself. And if you want to run a successful business, you have to set your ground or what the expectations are. And then you have to go out there and recruit the people that are willing to deliver those expectations. And obviously you have to check them. I mean, Todd keeps saying all the time, inspect what you expect. So even if it comes down to a technician, randomly, when they finish the cars, just take one and check it out. Just spot check them.
Yeah, and then pay them well.
But you got to pay them well. Together. You have to have a nice environment. You have to make it just like the customer. You have to be different from the shop down the street. It's the same thing on the technician side. Your shop has to be different than the shop down the street, because guess where the technicians work? Down the street. They're in another shop. So if it's the same, what would be the benefit for them to come here? It's no benefit. They can just stay where they are. But your shop has to look better. You have to pay them better. You have to treat them better. Like when I come in the shop, all the guys hug me. It's like automatic. They love me. I get messages all the time. I appreciate what you do for me. I've never been happier. All those things matter. It's not an act, and you have to do it. You have to really mean it, not act, because you can only act for so long, right? You can't fake it. You have to really mean it. And actually, the other day I was talking to Perry over the weekend, and I'm like, I have a very easy gauge now how long I'm going to keep somebody for. The minute, let's say we work together, right? The minute I stop caring for you, it's time to go. I really, truly, deeply care for every single person we work together. See, the minute something happened and that bond breaks, then it's not good for me and it's not good for them because, for me, obviously, I don't feel right or something is wrong. And then for them, if I don't care enough to train them, to make them better, to worry about them and their families and their kids, then it just doesn't work. There's billions of people out there. There's many, many people available. Find the right people for you. That's it.
That's a good way to put it. No, you're absolutely right. And that's like, it's all culture, right? Like you have to have that culture and it's like walking on eggshells, right? And I'm sure there's a lot listening right now that have that in their shop where they like come to work and there's that one or two person and like you got to kind of walk on eggshells a little bit. You don't want to like call them out. You don't want to spot check their vehicle because they're going to be a prima donna about it. Like, what are you looking at, right? And it's all about culture. Most people, if they want to excel, they should want to be spot checked. They should want their phone calls checked because it makes them better.
Exactly. So we inspect the cars, the technicians fix the cars. A lot of times they're like, I think it's good. You want to go check it? They just tell me. Versus, like you said, in some other shops, they're like, oh, don't touch my work. I'm like, what do you mean? It's our customer. At the end of the day, everything is a shared responsibility, right? Everything. So we can start on the advertising side. And the way that works is a lot of times people like advertising doesn't work. Like, really? I'm very good friends with, I don't know if you're familiar with Phil Tringali. He has an advertising company.
Oh, yeah, Phil. Yeah, he's over on the side.
Yeah, Phil is awesome. It doesn't even matter if it's Phil or any other kind of advertising. Advertising does one thing and one thing only, that is to make the phone to ring. Advertising is not going to fill in your shop. What do you say on the phone to that customer? That's going to make the difference and fill the shop.
Absolutely.
Same thing with the back of the house. Now, if they do great work and you check it and it's great work and you deliver the product, now the customer is coming back. See, the advertising got them in the first time. Now you do good work. Hopefully you provide good service. Now they're back. See, everything is interrelated. Everything. There's not one spoke of the wheel you can take away.
I like that. And to kind of pivot off that, one of the big, I think, takeaways I had, I mean, there was a few of them, but one of the big ones was kind of getting the ego out of your own head, right? So saying yes on the phone, right? Mm-hmm. Having a process for so long where we wanted to, what do you call it? You have to take the customer and you're trying to qualify the customer. And you've probably heard that from other coaching companies. Like, you want to make sure you get the qualified customer, right? Get your customer avatar for marketing. And then when they call, you want to make sure you're qualifying your customer on the phone before you get them into the shop. And we did that for a long time. Like, that was, we asked some engaging questions. Hey, what's going on with the car? Where have you had it? And I never realized how many roadblocks we were putting up. Right. And then they ask you, right, like, well, how much is it going to cost? And immediately, well, it's going to be, a $200 assessment fee. Right. So immediately we're putting up these, and you don't really realize the fences you're putting up. And you're right on marketing. The conversion rate is starts with the phone call, right? Like, you just got to get the car. Right, you just got to get the car in the shop.
It may not even start there. It may start before they even call you. A lot of people, they don't realize how they're hurting their business doing nothing. They have blocked times on their calendar on their website. So let's say I'm a busy guy, you're a busy guy, right? Let's say we're customers. Let's pretend we're customers now. We're just working in a different business in the bakery. And I want to get my oil changed at 5 o'clock. Well, is the calendar open? If I go on your website and I schedule an appointment, can I come in, or are you going to say it's too late, we don't take cars after 4 p.m.?
Right.
Like a lot of people do that. Mm-hmm. But also we have to look at it as an industry. a little bit different on that customer. When the customer comes in, you're talking about pre-qualifying the customer. Don't forget that that customer, the reason they call you today is because they were burned somewhere else. See, the industry kind of caused the damage by themselves, and it will take a little bit of time to clean up, and hopefully with what we're teaching in auto passes, it will help out. But the customer is already kind of burned because they've been lied to, they've been mistreated. Some shops, they're not as nice and professional as, my business or your business, right? So they've been mistreated, they've been lied to. They told them the car will be ready on Thursday, and now it's next Monday, and nobody even called them for an update. See, even that is mistreating the customer. So when they call you and they're trying to come in and they're trying to give you an opportunity, to try you out, why are we pre-qualifying the customer? See, they might be the right customer, but right now they're afraid. They don't even know you yet.
That's true.
So, and then the other thing with that too is if somebody is going to pre-qualify the customer in any shop, I believe it has to be either the owner or the manager, and that's it. It has to stop there because it's not something that you can really coach people or train people to learn that skill. It takes a long time to develop that like that gut feeling or whatever you want to call it. Plus, I feel like we have to give them a chance. Let them come in the door. We'll meet them. I mean, we do what we call a new customer introduction when they come in our shops. They come in, we shake their hands, we take them around the shop, we show them the technicians, we show them the facilities. We really treat them like family. Just like if your cousin came in and visited you, you'd be like, hey, let me show you. This is Paul or whatever. He's been working with me for 10 years. He's awesome. You drive a Jeep, he's a Jeep technician. However, there's going to be something you're going to find to connect with that customer, right?
Sure.
So by the time you're done with a shop tour, you see how they change. They're a different person. So if you pre-qualify them on the phone, you're never going to get to have that opportunity to do that.
Right. Yeah, it's a waste of time, really. I mean, and I'm sure you've had technicians that at once upon a time, maybe you called around and made sure, hey, I'm just checking, does this person work for you? And then, hey, can you tell me a little bit about the work history? And, I would never hire them back. Well, you hire them and then they're a totally different person, right? Because they're in a different environment. Like people change, right? Like everyone's just think, oh, you're going to ask a few leading questions. You're going to find out who this person is. Like, oh, this customer's not a spender. He's on a blacklist. It's like, well, maybe you didn't treat him right. I don't know. Like, but the main thing is like, just get them in though. Like you've already paid for the marketing, right? And your cost per acquisition, right? If you're spending X amount, every phone call costs you $60 to $100. And why wouldn't you want them to at least come in to possibly for something, right?
So you can actually decide how much you want the marketing to cost you. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
The more you say yes, the lower your cost.
That's true.
The more you say no, the higher the cost. It's that simple. Something else I learned years ago when Todd was teaching me how to recruit, we're actually sitting in the desk and we had a bunch of resumes we printed out. And I took a half a pile, he took a half a pile of resumes, and we're kind of sitting next to each other. And I take one, I'm like, I'm throwing this one out. He's like, why? Like, look, this guy, 1 year here, 1 year here, 1 year here, 1 year here. I'm like, okay, what does that tell you, Jimmy? If a guy moves around every year, what does that tell you?
Sounds like job hopping.
Right. But Todd is like, no, I want that one. I'm like, you want this one? Why? Why would you want that one? He's like, Charlie, you think and you compare yourself with any other shop out there. Unfortunately, the truth is that a bunch of other owners within, 5 or 10 miles from here that have shops, they're not like you. They don't have a facility like yours. They don't treat their technicians with respect. Some people talk down to technicians. I've seen that, which is crazy to me. I mean, how can you run your business without a technician, right? But they mistreat them. So he says, this guy could potentially be just looking for a home. Nothing more than that. But he tried this place and it didn't work. And he tried that place and didn't work and tried that place that didn't work. The other day, this is a hot topic right now. So Glenn Piccolo shared a post on LinkedIn, which is absolutely taking over the internet right now. So it was a technician that posted a picture, and in it has his picture, and it says looking for work. and he has a picture of a tire that the outside of the tire is in great shape and the inside the steel belts are showing. And he says, can we hire a service advisor that wants to move out of the chair and come and look at cars, basically? That's what it says. So now if that technician already has a job and he's looking to move, is it a technician's fault or is it a system fault? Is it a mistreating fault? But in this case, it sounds like the system, like these guys just sit around on the chair and they're waiting for everything to come on a platter. In our system, it's mandatory, and I hate the word mandatory, but this is how our system works, is the service advisor is responsible to touch the car, to inspect the car. With what we have is general service guys that assist on that. And they touch, they take pictures, they take videos themselves, and they send it to the customer. And what that is because we keep them accountable. See, they can never say, oh, a technician recommended this or recommended that. No, your name is on the line. You know your name, and keeping my name clean is a responsibility. And again, everything is a shared responsibility. So again, I want to take that example. That technician says, I am looking for a job. And the only reason he says it because the people in his shop don't care.
Yeah, I think it's polarizing because it's so common, and that's as for our shop too, is we had technicians doing inspections, and I think the biggest takeaway that I got from when we met at Houston a couple weeks ago was a month now, whatever it was.
Yeah,
that was one of the very first things I implemented. No more technicians doing inspections. It was the biggest bottleneck. It was the biggest bottleneck and the most wasted time in the shop. I was like, how do we push through the ceiling? We're at a ceiling, right? And maybe some shops aren't. Maybe some shops are doing 500, 600K a year, and they're still growing, right? We hit like 1.2, 1.3. We just couldn't get past it, right? And I'm looking at the productivity, and it's like the guys are being productive, but what are 6 hours of the day are spent doing inspections. And I'm like,
so when they're going to work, they have a couple hours left to fix cars.
Yeah. So I was like, if I get rid of 6 hours a day of inspections and I get them done myself with my service manager in less than 10 minutes, because that's all we need to do.
That's all it takes.
It's 9-10 minutes. Now they just freed up 6 hours for the techs. And it's like, there's the next ceiling, you know?
Now you said pay them well. With that single move you did, you just gave all your technicians like a triple raise.
Yeah, it did too. I gave them all a raise after that. Yep.
Yeah. But even if you didn't dollar-wise, just because you gave them the freedom to be able and produce those 8 or 10 hours that they're in the shop, now they're just producing work versus doing inspections. And there is cases, and again, a lot of people take this wrong. These cases, you still need the technician to diagnose a problem. You still need his opinion to tell you, hey, it's leaking from this seal, right?
Sure.
There is those cases. But again, it's 90% of the time. You can have a 20-year-old GS pull the wheels for you, Jimmy, and you can go put the gauge measuring tool on those brake pads and you see if it needs brakes or not. It's that simple. And by the way, a little nugget is we actually flip the calipers. We take the bottom bolt off and we flip it because a lot of times you can only see half of it, right?
Right.
You don't get the full measurement. But again, why am I slowing down the technician to do something so basic, which is almost like if you went to the hospital and you're calling a surgeon to take your blood pressure?
It's a good way to put it.
It is exactly the same. So when you go into the hospital, they don't call the surgeon to come out of the room and come and take your vital signs. They have the nurses. And then there is a person there that does all the paperwork, administrative person, right? So that's what we are. We're the administrative person and we take the vital signs. And most of the cars, pretty much that will give you 90% of the information. In some cases, 100%. But now, why are we waiting for a technician or a surgeon to do this? It's absolutely mind-boggling. So now what you did with the move you did, so I guess that trip that you came down to Houston obviously was well worth it for you.
Yeah.
That single move you did, it frees up your technicians. The technicians don't even want to do pictures and videos. They only really want to fix cars. That's what they love. You were a tech, I was a tech. I love fixing cars. So anything else was in my way. But we keep throwing hurdles at them all day, and then we're like, oh, my tech only did 30 hours this week. Yeah, he did 30 hours. It would be impossible for him to do more. It really would be impossible. My technicians average 90, 100, depends. They make a lot of hours, but their schedule is wide open because basically we bring every car to them on a platter. Again, there's going to be those cars you need to diagnose. Then what you can do, you can still PMI the vehicle up front, yourself, your service advisor, a GS, take all the information, have it ready, and then take it to a technician and be like, just diagnose this problem. Everything else is done for you. You're going to have some very happy technicians making a lot of money. And now that's another thing. They're not looking to move because they know if they go to another shop that doesn't run like this, there's no way they can do 90 or 100 hours a week.
Yeah, not doing inspections. And the other side of that too is it gives the advisors more of an opportunity to build a relationship quickly, right? And one of the issues I found when I got back was going through some of the work orders is we'd have a car sit for 2 days before we had a technician available to inspect it.
Yes.
The technician inspects it for a misfire and it just needs an ignition coil.
Cool. Which takes 5 minutes to diagnose.
How's that phone call go, right? So now the advisor's got to call, hey, so your car's been sitting for 2 days and all it needs is a spark plug and an ignition coil. They're like, really? It's been sitting for 2 days and that's all it needed? And I'm looking at, and like, thought I had this perfect concept put together. Like, I make sure technicians inspect everything. We have an ASE technician that's looking at every vehicle, but then it's taking 2 days for them to get to it because I need them cranking hours out, and so it just gets put in queue. And it's like I could have looked at that the day it came in, and I could have very quickly myself, right? Like it needs an ignition coil. 5 minutes. Even if it doesn't, we can make the call. Hey, so we looked at the vehicle. We didn't see anything out of the ordinary. We're going to send it into our advanced assessment. We're going to have an ASE master tech look at it. It's going to be tomorrow before we get to it. Oh, fine. Thanks for calling me. And it just changes the whole relationship. It's crazy.
Perfect. Now, a lot of other shops too, and I'm assuming this has happened to your shop before. How about they getting backed up with work? Because again, and now what happens, they get backed up with work in the back because they run this system. And now that doesn't allow you to say yes on the phone. See how everything gets backed up to the phone, right? Because if you know you have 15 cars waiting to still be diagnosed 2 days later, I understand it's very hard to say, yeah, bring it over right now. See, because we don't do that, we do big numbers. As you know, our numbers, we run massive revenue. Our technicians get paid really well. They run big hours. And our customers get exceptional customer service because they can call at any time. We could have a full shop and we're going to say, absolutely, it's not a good time to bring a vehicle in. And they come here and we identify that coil situation within 5 minutes. We get them home. Either we give them a loaner car or we Uber them home. And now we keep the car and we can get to fix it tomorrow morning.
Yep. And I think that's the concept of saying yes on the phone that a lot of the industry is like, I would never do that, right? Like I'm 2 weeks back and they wait like a badge of honor, right? We've all heard that, right? I'm 2 weeks out and they're proud of it, right? If you're 2 weeks out, you better have 500 cars out in the lot because there's no reason why you should ever be that busy.
Let me, for the people listening to this that do say that, and again, I understand it 100%, guys. I understand it 100%. The shop is backed up, so you have cars waiting to be looked at. So how can you possibly say yes on the phone, right? Mm-hmm. All right. So I have a little shop. I have a little shop in Watertown. It's 2 bays, 4 lifts. Small parking, small shop. That shop just did $412,000 last month. $412,000. And if you call them right now, I challenge you, they're going to say, absolutely, it's not a good time. So how can a little tiny shop that does massive revenue, high volume, be able to say yes? If you are backed up for 2 weeks, what should your numbers be?
Should be huge.
It should be $1 million. If that shop is not backed up and it says yes at 400,000, and you're backed up for 2 weeks, you should be doing $1 million. So unless you're doing $1 million, there's no way you're backed up.
Yep.
Again, unless people are willing to challenge it, the way we're to give it an opportunity to try this system, it's very hard to understand. But once you try it, see, you tried it a month ago. I can see how happy you are. Look at you. You feel like a weight came off your shoulders.
Oh yeah. And there's not just pieces to it, right? And I don't need to take the entire system and completely get rid of what we have, right? It's just finding the pitfalls, right? Like using your common sense. Like okay, so where are our bottlenecks? Where's the
Hmm.
pitfalls in my business? And how can I fill those holes with this new procedure, right? But you need enough of it to make it make sense where I can't just say yes on the phone and keep sitting back in my office and just and running the shop based on a spreadsheet, right? I have to go out there on the lift. And I think that's hard for a lot of owners because they want to be sitting in the office and having the all
Oh
their
man.
employees do everything, and it doesn't work. And I get it, and like my goal is to divorce myself a little bit away from the business and have the business run on its own. But I've also looked at it as like, okay, so all I'm having to do is a 9-minute inspection, right, on 15
Hmm.
cars a day. It's not that big a deal. And like you said, I can eventually hire a GS or someone to take that spot. It's such an easy position to be filled, right?
Very easy.
Versus
It
being
is
like an
very
AC
easy.
master diagnostic technician, like that's a harder spot to fill. But if all I got to do is just PMI a couple cars a day with my service manager and get everyone on that same page, I feel like that's an easy position that I can hire in. I can get an advisor to take that job, you know?
Exactly. It's very, very easy. It's liberating. You'll be able to provide better service to your customers. So if you have a customer that brought their car in today, what you described with a coil, let's say they brought it in today, and now you don't get to it for a couple of days, right? Running it the old school way.
Mm-hmm.
And now you finally diagnose the car and it needs a coil. And now it's 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and you're like, well, I can't get the parts today, so it will be tomorrow. And you take care of the car and they come and pick it up. Now, next time they have something going on with their car, you're not their first call. This is what's going through their head. Man, I need my car. I really like Jimmy. He did good work, but I can't be out of my car for a week. See, you're not the first call. They don't even think about the cost of that. And they're like, oh, like I said earlier, I do great work. Yes, nobody's arguing that. You did great work. It took you 3 days to do something that would take minutes. See, that's a problem for the customer. It's not a problem for you because we're in the shop every day. We just go and spend our day there, right?
That's
But
true.
it is a problem for the customer. Taking their car away for 2, 3, 4 days, it's a big problem.
Yeah. And even if you put OE, oh, but I got the OE coil and I got the OE plug and I torqued it and I put anti-seize and I did dielectric grease and no other shop I know does a coil installation as good as I do. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter. The customer doesn't care. They don't
The
they
only
couldn't
care,
care. You know what they
the
care
only
more
care
about?
is,
They care more about that the car was washed than that you used OE parts. That's the hard truth that we have to swallow as a technician, you know?
man, I think we did a car recently. It's some major, major work, a lot of stuff. And it was like just a silly thing. I think they had a little scuff mark. And I took, honestly, some brake cleaner and I cleaned the paint off. And then we ran the car through the car was. And they picked it up, like, oh my God, you did that? I'm like, out of all this work that we did, rebuild the whole car, this is the only thing they noticed. Isn't it crazy?
It
Oh,
is. That's the truth though. And we miss it. We miss it every day, right? Like and we've been missing it. I've been missing it for years. Like you just don't realize how important those things are because we're technicians. We're looking under the hood. We're under the skirt, right? We're not looking at the dress. We're looking underneath it, right? We're seeing how it all works and like making sure it's all clean. And it's like, hey, I took some there was some grease. I wiped it off the bag and they're like that. I've never seen the underneath of my car. I don't care what it looks like under there.
Man, earlier on in the early days, I used to almost detail every underhood, clean the leaves, touch up. I used to spray some WD-40 on the hoses and sign them up if there was any dust or whatever. And I remember I'm showing my wife some pictures of cars under the hood. I'm like, oh, look how nice that looks. She's like, do your customers know how to see that? I'm like, what? Because he doesn't know about cars. She's like, do your customers know how to see that? I'm like, I don't know. She's like, it's almost like you didn't do it. It's like, I understand what you did, but if you didn't do it, if you did or didn't do it, it makes no difference. The customer will never, ever know.
Right. Right. They don't even pop the hood. They're
They,
not
they
they're
don't
not
know
checking they're
how.
not checking their oil. That's your job as as the shop. Like that's our job is to check the oil. It's not their job. They're not looking.
Not, man, you nailed it. Another big lesson I learned over the years is the customer is responsible for one thing, and that's one thing only. That is to pay the bill. Other than that, anything else with their car, it's our responsibility. Anything that has to do, diagnosing the car or getting it ready on time, whatever it is, picking it up, doing a state inspection. Like we don't do state inspections in my locations in Massachusetts. The ones in Houston we do, but we absolutely take care of state inspections. If the car is here, I'm servicing the car. So what am I going to do now? Have you pick up the car from me and tell you, go down the street and get your inspection done? That to me is crazy. I will take care of the work I'm supposed to do, your oil change, your brakes, whatever it is. I'm going to take it down the street. I'll get the inspection done for you. I'm going to bring it back here and you pick it up from here. Have you ever heard of a restaurant that doesn't have a specific name of wine or whiskey that some customer wants? Well, they're going to send somebody to the liquor store or to another restaurant across the street. They're going to pick it up and make sure that customer is satisfied. That's what we do. Same exact service.
It's funny you bring that up. And so my service manager is really into this process that we put together, right? And he comes up to me the other day and he's like, you know what? It kind of ruined me a little bit. I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, well, now when I go to a restaurant, if someone doesn't immediately ask me how my day is going or doesn't immediately give me customer service, I get a little annoyed. He's like, because every day on the phone now, he's like, hey, absolutely. Can you get it in now? Right? Can we go pick up the car? I got a tow truck on standby. I'll come pick it up for you. Is now a good time, right? And then he's using the script, and it goes into your brain so deep that now when you go somewhere else, your level of expectations of service of wherever you're going has now been raised, right? Because you're like, I provide such a good customer service all day, and then you go to a restaurant or you go, to a grocery store or whatever, and it's like, what's your problem, man? Like, I'm here to spend money. Don't you want to give me good customer service? So it kind of ruins you a little bit.
You nailed it. It's the only thing I see. I can walk in a place right now, and within a second, I know if it's good or bad. It's absolutely just the vibe you get, just the looking around the place. It could be a restaurant, it could be a retail store. It doesn't matter. You automatically know. Well, guess what? Your customers, they also know.
Yep.
They also know. So I'm so glad your service advisor said that. That means he can now see it from the other side. And that is the right side to see it. We have to look at everything we do from the customer's point of view. See, we have to look at if the customer calls at 2:00 on a Saturday. I don't even know, are you open Saturdays?
No.
Okay. Eventually you will be. But let's say customer calls you at 2:00 on a Saturday because they're on the way to the Cape, per se, and the car is having problems. Are you saying, I'm closing in a half an hour, I can get you in? Or are you like, let me take a look at it right now, see what I can do for you? Again, I can't do what's convenient for me. I have to do what's convenient for the customer. Even our business hours, I'll tell you, we had to back off our hours. We open earlier now. We open at 7, which I actually think right now, looking at it, I may even have to push it to 6:30. Because last week, I'll never forget, Todd was in town and we're doing a take 5 and we're training some people here. And it was 7:00, and I think we got 4 or 5 people in right at 7. Either people picking up the cars to start their day, or people dropping off for the day. And the reason we end up with this 7:00 time is in the Newton location. It's 2 buildings right now, and when we took over the back building, we're sitting in the back having coffee every morning, and then we noticed that every morning will be at least a car coming through the parking lot in and out. We could see it. And I'm like, people probably making U-turns. In the beginning, I didn't pay much attention to it. And then one of my guys, Ed, is like, man, we need to go and sit in the front and have coffee, see what's happening. And then we did, and guess what? Those were actually customers trying to come and drop off their cars before we were open, because back then we were open at 7:30. So since then, we open at 7. Again, listen to the customer, follow the trends, listen to your calls. If you close at 5, I want you to think about it. How can the customer get out of work at 5 and be at your place at 5 to pick up the car? It's not feasible. It's not realistic.
Right.
So anybody that closes at 5, it's just not realistic. You have to make it convenient for them. You want to offer, if you still want to close at 5, then make sure you offer delivery service and you get their cars to their house or at their work, whatever they're going to be before that, right? But I think it's just easier. Just extend another hour, close at 6. I'm telling you, you're going to get much better results. It's all those things that sometimes we get blinded and carried away. We don't see it anymore. We're like, I'm here 8 to 5. Okay. But that doesn't help the customer.
It's a little bit of fear too. Like there's and maybe it's the technician brain. So I have a story from yesterday. I got a call, and there was someone coming from the valley. So we're on the coast of California, and the valley's Bakersfield, Fresno, right? Hey, my daughter's coming from Bakersfield, and her AC stopped working. She's pregnant. She's by herself, and she's got no AC. It's like 95 degrees. Like it's
It's
hot.
hot.
It's hot
Yeah.
here, right? And Bakersfield's like 110. It's hot. She's got to drive the car back tomorrow. She's staying, in Paso in our area last night, and it was like 4:10 or something like that. And
Okay.
like instantly in the back of my mind, I'm thinking of all the possibilities of why her AC doesn't work, right? And I'm
You
thinking,
haven't even
man,
looked at the guy yet.
I haven't, but my prehistoric brain goes, right? Like, man, I probably shouldn't bring her in here because then she's gonna be sitting here. I'm not gonna be able to fix it. And you know what I did? I just went, absolutely is now a good time, right? Bring it in.
Okay.
Let's just see
So,
what happens, right?
so what happened when he came in? Tell me.
Bring it. It was a little low on refrigerant. I was able to recharge it, get her air blown cold, and now, and it
Like an
wasn't
hour.
like, of course, it was about the money, right? Like, yeah, we make money, but the more important thing to me at that time last night, and I had to stay till 5:30 to finish it, right? It's not a big deal. But the
Yep.
most important thing is this is a young woman. She's pregnant. She's on her own. She's here on a work trip, and now she's going to have cold AC to drive home today,
Yes.
right?
Yes. Now you nailed it.
Yeah,
See,
and it's
that's
like
how you have to look. You took care of the young woman versus driving a 95-degree pregnant with no air conditioning. And
and,
then the money just followed that.
yes. You
See,
know
the
what she
money,
told me too? She said she called 4 other places and everyone told her no.
of course, it's after 4 o'clock. They all say no. I can bet my life savings on that. They all say no.
Yeah.
Maybe 1 out of 100 may say yes.
Well, I
And
thought about
even
saying no. That was my first instinct.
yeah,
That's what I wanted to say
it's
too.
because you go back to your old habits. But see, the fact that you're talking about her today, it's not about the money. You just feel good helping her out.
Yeah. Yeah, I know right now she's on her way back home and she's got cold AC. I don't know how long it'll last. Sure, I wasn't able to do the pressure test that I normally would want to do. I didn't get to do my technician stuff, right? Like I didn't get to do that. But you know what? I was able to recharge the AC, cost her $150. I know it's going to work good enough to get her home, and that's all she wanted. And
That's
I told
it.
her that. I said, "Hey, look, there's normally a protocol of things that we like to do to make sure that the pressure test the system and this, that, and the other thing." And she said, "If I can just have cold air on the way home, that's all I need. I'm pregnant. I'm 8 months pregnant. I can't sit in this hot car on the way home tomorrow." I was like, "Oh, it's not about me, is it?"
No, it's not about you. But you see, like I say, you took an hour, you made her happy, and you make a few dollars in the process.
Yeah, I mean, that's
That's it.
that's the most important thing, isn't it? I mean, we lose sight on that, right?
It's so simple, though, if you think about it, right? I feel like a lot of times we overcomplicate things, like we don't have to.
And the one thing I wanted to bring up too was the sales process as well, which is something that really really clicked and was something that I've never heard before with the bases, right? And
Hmm.
and presenting the first sale. And I think this is another thing I've talked to a lot of other shop owners and a lot of other people about, and most advisor coaching tells you you want to make one phone call, right? The 300% rule, one phone call, the kitchen sink, right? Like
Yeah.
that's that sales presentation that everyone's is beating in all these advisors. Like, you don't want to bother the customer, you want to get everything down, you want to price everything out, you want to make one phone call and sell everything at once. And the process of making multiple phone calls throughout the day, I think a lot of advisors are having a hard time with that because they're like, well, I don't want to call my customer more than the once because that's an inconvenience to them. But once you
Why?
see it in play, yeah, like why? Like why?
But you got
And
to ask
that's,
yourself, why? Why do you
yes,
think it's bad?
exactly. And that's once I started questioning my own beliefs, it was like, well, wait a second. What if it was me? What if I brought my vehicle in, right? Or my daughter's car or whatever. They go into a shop, I want them to fix what it's there for. And I want a
Yep.
price on what it costs to fix what it's there for. If you call me later and say, "Hey, I also found these other things," I don't think I'd have a problem with that. Right? I
Hmm.
don't want a $7,000 estimate when all I needed was my rear brakes done because they found
Right.
control arm bushings bad and a water pump leaking and this and that and the other. Like, dude, can you just fix what I came in there for? Like, that's my initial thought as well. And so if
One
you tell
hundred
me, hey,
percent.
hey, hey, your brakes are going to be $800 to replace, we'll get it started. I'm going to give you a call once I inspect the vehicle. Like, you know what? From a consumer standpoint, I think that's probably the way I'd want to be handled as well.
100%. It's easy. Now let's start with this. I'm going to explain the process in just a minute for the people that don't know the process, but I'm going to start with this. Any other business on this in this country and probably on the planet runs it the same way. Other than what business? Auto repair. Auto repair when a kitchen sink and throw you everything. And any other business doesn't do it. So you can go to Apple, which is obviously a very well-known company, right? You go in because they advertise they have this iPad for $399. But now you go in, oh, but this one has a bigger screen. This has more memory. This one also has Wi-Fi option. Now you end up with a $1,200 iPad that you went for $399 for. You're not obligated to buy the 1200. You
Right.
know that, right? You could just buy the 399 and leave. That is a sales process that did that, and they convince you that you wanted to buy that. I mean, and it's an option. Nobody puts it on. It's an absolute 100% your call. Do you want to get a case for it and pay another $100? Then you get a case. You don't want to get a case, don't get a case. That's up to you. So it is exactly the same.
But then you feel good about your $1,200 purchase, even though you only went in to spend $399, because you're like, you know what, it made more sense to get all the nice stuff. I wanted to take care of myself,
Right.
you know.
So let me explain the process now for the people that don't know it. So we break down the sell into three stages, and we call it Moneyball, the game of Moneyball, because one day, I mean, obviously Todd created the system back in 1986, but one day he's watching the movie Moneyball, and as he's watching the movie, for those familiar with the movie, they were trying to win games by playing basically to go around the bases instead of looking for home run players. That's the rundown of it. So let's say the car comes in for brakes. What we're going to do, just like you said, Jimmy, we're going to talk to you about the rear brakes. We're going to do your rear brakes and probably a brake fluid exchange if needed. And now you're at $800 or $900, whatever that number is. Now, we did inspect the car already, like you said, in 10 or 15 minutes. We have already inspected the car. But this is the catch, guys. A lot of times you inspect the car and you tell the customer all these other problems. They don't even give you permission to inspect the car yet. So why are you doing it? See, we do it for time savings because the car is already on the lift. I already have the wheels off, so I'm going to check everything else, right? So I had to open the hood to check the brake fluid condition in order to check the brakes. So while I'm under the hood, I checked my filters, I checked the belts, did a quick battery test. Now we're going up on the lift. I take the wheels off to inspect the brakes. Well, while I'm in there, I can inspect the struts. I can inspect the tires, the ball joints, right? I'm right there. So I already have all that information built up while doing the brake inspection. So it doesn't really take any more time to do it. But the customer only asked me to inspect the brakes so far. So once I called Jimmy and I'm like, hey, Jimmy, your rear brakes are completely worn out. We do need to replace your pads and rotors and brake fluid exchange. What I'm also going to do while the vehicle is in here, I'm going to provide you a full inspection to make sure it's in tip-top shape. Now that gives me the permission to inspect the rest of the car, and Jimmy is now expecting my second call. And then what we do before we hang up the phone, we tell him, I'm going to call you with an update once your brake parts arrive and let you know if there's any other concerns with the vehicle. See, that's actually good customer service. Calling them and kids are singing them is not good customer service. When people are like, well, I'm only going to call them one time. So what we do, we sell the brakes first. That's our first base. Any other safety-related items we may find, if it's worn-out tires or worn-out tie rods or ball joints, that goes to second base. Any safety-related items is second base because we need to make sure your car is safe, right? I can't sell you transmission fluid exchange knowing your ball joints are falling off. That's just not logical. Right. So our second base is any safety-related items. And then from there on, we'll go to third base, which is all the maintenance items. And we have great technology right now. Pretty much any software you use nowadays will have Carfax built in it, right? So you can get your manufacturer recommended services. You can look at your Carfax report. We're actually using Detect Auto right now that blends all that information together, and it tells us really fast.
Such a powerful tool.
It's instant.
It's
instant. If you're not using it, I'm not getting paid by Detect Auto, so you know. But if you're not using it, you're leaving so much money on the table.
I mean, and it's what is it? 100? It's like $200 a month.
I think the first car when we plugged it in, the first car we sold like $1,800 worth of maintenance. So the first car paid for like
Pay
6
for the whole
months.
year. Yeah. Pay for the whole year.
So how can you not do it, right? So now this is the other thing. A lot of people will say, well, that's unethical because you have the information and you don't tell the customer. No, no, no. I'm going to tell everything to the customer. I'm just going to tell them in bite sizes so that way they don't get overwhelmed and they can get to pick again. Do they want the $399 iPad or the $1,200 iPad, right?
Yep.
It's the same thing. So there's nothing wrong by doing it. Also, don't overwhelm them with too much information. See, we speak the language within this industry every day. Everybody on this podcast that's going to listen to this, they know what brake pads, rotors, tie rods, ball joints are. The customer has no idea what we just said. They have no idea. You were talking about pressure testing the refrigerant, the air conditioning system. They have no idea. You might as well talk Chinese to them. It's the same language. So we have to break it down, not overwhelm them, give them the option. And there's one more caveat to this that a lot of people miss. We actually don't start working on the car up until we've completely gone through the sales process and all the parts have arrived. So let's take that air conditioning lady from yesterday, and let's say she dropped it off this morning, and you called her and you sold her the air conditioning service because that's what they asked for, right? Now you inspected the car and you found brakes. And now you call them, that's your second base. And now the lady's like, listen, I'm pregnant. I just bought a bunch of stuff, furniture for the baby's room, clothes, you name it. So I don't have the money to do my brakes and my air conditioning. And you're like, listen, you really have zero brakes. You could probably still drive without air conditioning, but you can't drive without brakes. Now we give the customer the option. Do they want to do the brakes and the air conditioner, or do they just want to do one or the other? You know what I mean? If we don't force them to do anything, we give them options. Now, the reason our close ratio is so high, because again, we're super nice. We said yes on the phone. We walked them around the shop. We introduced them to the technician that's going to work on their car. And we're extremely nice and transparent. That's why our close ratio is high. It's not because we kitchen sink them.
Yeah, and I had and you said the unethical thing, and that was the exact same response I had when I heard about that process, right? And the fact that the fact that okay, you're holding information. That's exactly my initial thought when I was like, wait a second, you're doing the inspection, you're calling the customer, and then you're not relaying that information right away. Just immediately felt like that just wasn't right. The more I thought about it, the more I realized I was wrong, right? Because of, and you said it to your point, customers don't know what I'm talking about, right? So I go and I kitchen sink them, right? And I say, okay, well, your AC needs to be recharged. I need to do a pressure test on it. Your rear brakes are also low. I'm going to replace those. We're going to do with the rotors, with the brake fluid, and I'm just going to roll through all the stuff. I also saw your engine mount's broken, so I'm going to replace your engine mount, and you're due for an oil change. So all in all, we're going to do everything. It's going to be $3,500 if you want to take care of all that, right? And I am so used to saying that over and over and over. It's how did you not just overwhelm the customer to the point where they're either going to say yes because they just want their car back and it to be fixed, right? Or they're just going to say no because they don't know any different. And so being able to chunk it up, say, hey, this is all we're going to do right now, right? And they can absorb it. Oh man, the AC is going to be $2,200, and it gives them a minute to think about it. Then you call them back and say, hey, also I found some safety items. And they're like, you know what? I'd rather take care of the safety items than do the AC job, right?
I can't even tell you how many times we've done that. Because let's say the car comes in because the right rear window doesn't work. Okay? Right rear window regulator. And you need a regulator and a motor, and now it's whatever, $600-700 to replace that. Now you need a safety item. Let's call it brakes, just to keep it simple. And now I call them and I need $700 worth of brakes. I can't even tell you how many times they're like, you know what? I can leave the window closed for now, take care of my brakes. Because it just makes sense. It just makes sense. But if I call them off the bat and I tell them it's $1,500 to do both, maybe they don't have it. Now they run away. Now I never see them again, and I end up with a big zero on my cash register. So you see, that doesn't help the customer because now they need to go find another shop down the street to take care of it and start the process all over. And I made zero money. So that doesn't help anyone.
Or worse than that, I think what's worse than that is they spend the $1,400 or $1,500 with you, and then they never come back.
Yeah, they're not happy. Yeah,
so now you think you have this customer base that you're growing, but in reality, they spent money one time and then they'll never come back. So now you think you're growing a business and you're not growing anything.
You're not growing a business. Again, we talked about it earlier. You're not growing a business. I mean, keep an eye on your car count, your ticket average, all the basic stuff. You don't need to overthink it. A lot of times, see, you hit it on the nail earlier too, hit the nail on the head. A lot of times the owners are trying to sit in an office and run the business. How about go out there, shake some hands, get your customer feedback. I had to deal with a customer on either location today. And I had to do a little extra because they were loyal customers and I just wanted to take care of them. And, it's just so nice and rewarding. It's just so nice and rewarding. You keep them happy. They're not going anywhere. They'll be back. What's the lifetime value of that customer? Just shaking their hand, bring them in the shop and be like, oh, let me show you your car. It's so simple. But again, we want to stay in a computer, hiding in an office somewhere, looking at spreadsheets, and then you're trying to move numbers around, trying to make a dollar. That lifetime customer will pay for all of that and then some.
Yeah, Joe Adams definitely he definitely changed my mindset when it came to that stuff, right? Because the amount of energy he brings and the amount of money he makes, and still to be able to be that passionate and want to be the face of the company, I think a lot of us have lost that, right? And we're so focused on being an absentee owner that we try to hide ourselves in the back. Maybe it's just me, right?
And let me ask you.
You just want to be in the background, right? And you don't want people to come up to you and talk to you because you're busy, right? And you forget like the most important place you can be is talking to the people that are spending money at your business.
And let me ask you guys, I'll tell you, because this problem is way bigger than you realize. Until I had it happen to me, I thought it was wrong. Why do a lot of them want to be absentee owners? I was never an absentee owner, but I had a location I didn't want to go into. And that's because I had the wrong people working there. See, if you have people that, like we said earlier, you love them and you care for them, and they're like family to you, you don't want to go see your family? Like, it's fun coming to work. Versus when you have people, like I said, that bring bad attitudes and they don't take care of your customers, they don't take care of your equipment, they don't run your process. Now you don't want to go there, and now you feel defeated being in your own business. It's absolutely horrible. And that's a big problem. And again, Todd used to tell me, Charlie, that is the problem. You have an employee that you don't want to go see, you don't want to deal with, and that's why you don't go in that shop. And up until that employee left, after the employee left, that's when I realized he was actually right. See, up until that point, I thought he was wrong. I'm like, no, I'm just busy at the other location. And, Todd doesn't hold anything back, man. He'll tell you how it is. And again, you have to look at it. If you have any person in your facility that you're not happy with, either have a conversation with them, see if you can fix it, or you have to replace them.
Yep. The mind knows, right? Just like you said earlier, with like being able to have that gut feeling, right? It's like it's a vibe. It's a culture. Like there's something not right, and as much as you try to say it is, and you positive talk yourself, you're subconsciously you're like, I don't like those people. I don't want to be there.
You really don't. Okay. Have you ever been invited to like a wedding from your wife's cousin's family or something? You're like, man, I don't want to go there. All right? We've all had that feeling.
Yes.
A lot of people go through that every day at work, at their work environment. I feel like that's horrible. It should never happen. Build the environment with the people you want to work with, the way you want it to be, and then you'll be happy to go to work. So you're never going to not want to go to work. We don't even say I have to go to work. This is what we say around here. I get to go to work.
You get to kick some ass and make some money and take care of
people.
It's
fun. Yeah. It's fun. We're making money in the process because, again, the process is so good and we're having fun. It's amazing. Anyway, I'm not sure how much time we have here. I know we've been on for a while, but I got to tell you guys, anybody listening, please go to autoshopanswers.com. Take a look on our website. You owe it to yourself to at least come and see what it's all about. It will change your life. I promise you.
And follow Charlie on Instagram. You got some great posts that you put on.
Thank you. Yes. Yeah, I used to not post so much, and the last couple of months I've been posting more because I feel like, there's a lot of things that need to be heard. And if you want to follow me, actually, it's under my Greek name in LinkedIn. It's under Kyriakos Zlatkos, Kyriakos Zlatkos. On Instagram, it's under Charlie. Charlie is my nickname, but my real, Greek name is Kyriakos. So
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
I'm not going to try to pronounce that, but
No,
I'll
don't
keep
try. And
I'll keep following you.
it's been Charlie for over 30 years now, so I'm good with it.
Well, Charlie, appreciate your time. You just unloaded so many. I mean, just listening to this one podcast, I think could change your business enough to afford to go see it in real life, right? And down in Houston. So I
Let's
look
hope
forward to
so.
seeing you in September. I think I'm going to try to make that trip for the next AI event going on down there, because I mean AI is the new advent, and if you're not in it, then you're going to be way behind. So
You're gonna be way behind. Let me talk for AI for 2 seconds before we
yeah,
hang up. And a lot of people use AI, try to have less customer contact. You can use AI to help simplify your systems, make it faster, make it more accurate. Like we talked about Detect Auto, that's AI based, right? Boom, 1 second, it will tell you the history. But we use high technology for higher customer contact. The customer pays for everything. The minute you realize that, you want to talk to them all the time. You want to talk to them all the time. So going back to first base, second base, third base, if I talk to you 2, 3 times a day, by the time we're done, and then I call you to come and pick up your car, we're now friends. It's not even a transaction anymore. Now it's just my friend. So that's how we use technology to create better relationships. Anyway, Jimmy, thank you so much for your time. This was great, man. I appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Hey, sorry to cut in, but I got to let you know about our exclusive coaching partner of the Gearbox podcast, Repair Shops of Tomorrow. If you're ready to take your shop to the next level with proven strategies for profitability, ARO growth, and operational efficiency, visit repairshopsoftomorrow.com and start shifting your business into high gear.